everybody, it's Becky. I am back today with a video for you guys. This is actually not a video that I planned to make. I actually have a couple like that today, but there's just some things that have been weighing on my mind and my heart, and I wanted to share those with you. So the first thing I want to talk about is how to grow closer to Jesus. And I think maybe even as a Christian, which I am, I feel like I'm really close to God and Jesus, but I could always be closer. And I think sometimes it's hard. I was sitting in church a couple weeks ago and I was thinking, it's hard sometimes to think about Jesus because we don't get to see him and we don't get to talk to him, like, we can't hear him verbally. We all have like feelings and things sometimes that we feel like he's speaking to us, but if you're finding it hard to feel close to Jesus and you feel like maybe you should or you want to, but you just are having a hard time with that, I just kind of wanted to give you something to think about. So, of course, Jesus was born and lived and died and came back a long time ago. And so anybody in history that's from a long, long, long time ago, sometimes you can read about them and you know all about their lives and the things that they did, but you feel kind of displaced from them, whether that be, Abraham Lincoln or Maya Angelou or Jesus. I mean, even if you love him and you love what he did for you, sometimes it's hard to relate to somebody that lived that long ago. And I wanted to give you something to think about that might be helpful for you whenever you're struggling with that feeling of maybe feeling a little bit displaced or a little bit farther away from Jesus than you would like. If you think about all the things that Jesus did for the people that lived back then, and sometimes I get kind of jealous. I'm like, oh, he healed all these people and they got to walk in the same streets with him and see him and all of this stuff. And I feel like we don't get to see him, That'd be awesome to be just walking down the street one day and you just see Jesus over there and you're like, hey, But we don't get to do that. And while we appreciate the fact that he died on the cross for us and all those things, sometimes we don't grasp the fact that he died on the cross for you. He'd never seen you. He had never talked to you. You hadn't been born yet. And, your parents hadn't been born yet. Your parents' parents hadn't been born yet. And it's hard to really wrap your brain around the fact that somebody would do that for you, not even knowing you. And so maybe when you're having those feelings of maybe feeling a little bit displaced or a little bit having a hard time feeling an emotion about that, think about somebody in your present day life that you know and love and that you respect that would die for you. Whether that be, somebody jumps in front of a bullet for you, or somebody donates an organ to you, or any of these things, somebody in your life, like your mom or your dad or your husband or your wife or your brother or sister, somebody that you love deeply and you cherish their life. Imagine if they gave their life up for you, how you would feel about that person, how you would have a never-ending sense of gratitude and the wanting to pay them back and wanting to do whatever you could do for that person. And telling everybody you knew about that person, how great they were, how generous they were, what they did for you to save your life. And transfer that same feeling that you get when you think about that, and you might really have to sit there and think about it as if it were real. Transfer that feeling of how you feel about that person that you really know in your personal life to Jesus, because that's what he did for you. But he didn't even know you. You were not even born yet. You were not even a thought about being born yet. And he still did that for you to save your life so that you'd have the opportunity to go to heaven if you choose to. That's just what popped into my mind. And I was like, what if God and Jesus want me to say this? Even if you're a believer in God and Jesus, sometimes you can still find yourself feeling more far away from God and Jesus than you want to or that you should be. And so sometimes we have to put things into present day perspective to be able to wrap our brains around the fact that God's always been in existence. One of those things you're never going to really figure out. But as far as your love and your gratitude for Jesus and how you would if he were alive today and he did for you now what he did for you all those thousands of years ago, imagine how vocal you'd be about what he did for you and how that he died for your sins and for everybody's sins and for the opportunity for everybody to go to heaven. Imagine if he were here now and how that would make you feel and how you'd be shouting from the rooftops about how awesome he was. That really shouldn't change. And it really shouldn't. I mean, for me as well, I know sometimes you feel like, well, I can't say that because it'll offend this person or people will think I'm some kind of religious fanatic or whatever. And we really shouldn't let that be a reason to not say how we feel about Jesus and what he did for us. Because it's amazing whether it happened yesterday or, thousands and thousands of yesterdays ago. So just maybe that's something for you to think about. I don't know. If this was helpful to you, please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any videos. I have lots of different videos about different topics. I have homeschooling videos and religious videos and decoration and organizational videos, craft videos. I have lots of stuff. So even if this isn't your cup of tea, I have lots of other videos that I make on a weekly basis. So make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.